Hey everybody! I'm here today to tell you how to brake like a pro. In this video, I will be going over 8 specific things that you should be doing and focusing on and practicing in order to brake a car, not break a car, brake in a car better than ever before. You're obviously not going to brake the car. You're going to be braking while driving. So let's get right into the video. Number 1 is estimate the distance. Now, you want to be able to estimate your braking distance. Now, you don't need to know how many feet is between your car and where you need to come to a stop at. You don't need to be able to measure it in feet, meters, inches. It doesn't matter, kilometers, whatever. But you need to know how much to push the pedal in order to make that distance happen with your braking. What I recommend that you do is go into an empty parking lot and literally just practice braking. You know, just continually practice braking. Like, spend an hour just driving and braking nice and slowly in a parking lot, an empty parking lot at that, and make sure that you're learning to estimate the distance. All that estimating braking distance is just practice. That's the difference between not knowing how to do it and knowing how to do it. There's no special technique for the most part. It's just practicing. So practice in an empty parking lot for an hour and you'll be much better. Then you'll continue to practice on the road as you're driving, okay? Number 2, slow down in advance. So many people slam the brakes because they don't slow down early enough. What you want to do when you're braking, if you want to brake like a pro, is you want to make sure that as you're driving, you start slowing down slightly before you actually have to really start braking. So instead of just going like, oh, I'm going to start braking, what you do is you hover over your brake pedal and you press it ever so slightly. That does 2 things. It slows you down and it alerts the driver behind you that you plan on braking shortly. Then, after you've slowed down for like a second or 2, it doesn't have to be for long, then you start actually braking. So you want to time your braking so that it works out like that, okay? Number 3, look far ahead, multiple cars ahead. Never focus on the car in front of you, because when they brake, that means you have to start braking immediately. Instead, if you focus on the car well in advance, 5, 6, 10 cars ahead, then when you see their brake lights go on, that means that you can start your slowing down process, because you're going to have to actually start braking soon, okay? So look far ahead. If you're driving behind a big truck and you can't see ahead, well then switch lanes until you can see far ahead. It's very simple. Number 4 is plant your heel. Now, don't brake like this. Don't push any of the pedals like this. You want to plant your heel down. That gives you a pivot point to push the brake pedal. It allows you to be more consistent with your brake pedal pressure. So as you can see, if I'm going like this, it's hard for me to estimate where to stop. But if I plant my heel down, I can now control where I'm going to stop, just like that, okay? Number 5, pressure is key. You need to use the right amount of pressure. So, like I said, plant your heel. That will help you out with the pressure, but you need to know where on the brake pedal you need to stop pressing it. That happens with practice. That's part of estimating. So you want to estimate the distance and estimate the pressure. You want to be at the point where you see that you need to brake up ahead, and you know to plant your heel, your heel should already be planted anyways when it's on the gas pedal. So your heel's going to be planted, you see the distance, you switch to the brake pedal, you push it down however much you need to push it down, and you hold it there, and you know you're going to brake on time. So you want to be able to estimate the pressure consistently, and that just happens with practice. Number 6, keep 2 hands on the wheel, okay? Now, obviously, if you're driving a manual car and you're downshifting while braking, obviously you got to take your hand off the wheel. But if you're driving an automatic car, or even a manual car after you've downshifted or shifted into neutral, 2 hands got to stay on the wheel. Believe it or not, your steering affects your braking. Number 1, your 2 hands being on the wheel will allow you to see nice and straight down the road and estimate your braking distance better than if you're like this, okay? Gives you better vision like this when your posture is nice and straight. And number 2, it's going to allow you to control your steering better, because if you don't brake on time and you have to swerve for whatever reason, you're going to be ready to swerve. So you'll be more comfortable with your braking because you're prepared to do whatever it takes. Number 7, keep the car straight. Now, sometimes on occasion you're going to have to brake during a curve. On occasion that's going to happen. But for the most part, I would say 99.9% of the braking that you're going to be doing is when you're driving in a straight line. Keep your car straight. You don't want to brake when you're switching lanes. You don't want to brake in the middle of a turn unless you have to, obviously. So try and keep your car straight, because if your car is straight, you're going to be focusing less on straightening out the car and more on braking. So keep your car straight, and all that you'll focus on is that braking pressure and distance. If you can focus on that, you're going to be great at braking properly, safely, and more effectively than ever before. Last but not least is number 8, continue looking ahead. Even when you're braking, let's say I'm looking ahead and I start braking and I'm paying attention to the car in front of me, right? I'm gonna have trouble braking because I'm focusing on right in front of the car. It hurts my estimation abilities. But instead, if I still focus on far ahead, my estimation will be top notch, okay? But in addition, I can still see the car in front of me in my peripheral vision. So focus far ahead and the car in front of you will still be in your peripheral vision. You'll still be able to brake on time, okay? Just practice focusing a few cars ahead of you throughout the entire braking process, and you should be good to go. Like I said, if you have to slam your brakes, you're gonna have to focus on the car right in front of you. If you're gonna slam your brakes because of an emergency, you gotta look at that car to know what to do and when you need to brake before. But if you're just regularly braking on a day-to-day driving basis, continue focusing ahead. It will help you, and you can see the car in front of you in your peripheral vision. And that's it. That is essentially how to brake like a pro. The 8 top things that I think that you should do, practice, and focus on in order to brake while driving in a car better than ever before. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.